Welcome everyone. In the last session, we have discussed about the concept of reissue of forfeiture shares. Today, we will discuss about the concept of issue of shares that were once issued at premium and later on it may be reissued at discount or vice versa. So, let us discuss in detail both cases. We have previously discussed about different situations in which reissue of shares was made, and we discussed mainly about reissue at par, at discount, and at premium, which were issued at par. So now let us discuss some other cases where when shares were originally issued at premium and when they are reissued at discount, and also another case when shares are issued at premium and when they are reissued at premium. So how we are going to deal these two situations? Previously we have learned about premium, discount, as well as par situation, but in all these three situations initially the shares may be issued at par and it may be reissued at premium or discount or par. We have discussed all those cases, but we haven't discussed until now when shares are once issued at premium and when they are reissued at discount. We haven't dealt any cases about that, and at the same time you may come across another case when shares are originally issued at premium and reissued at premium. So how we are going to deal these two situations? So let us discuss in detail. First one, shares originally issued at premium and reissued at discount. With an example, we will discuss about the concept, because rather than explaining the theoretical part, it will be much better to discuss a case, then you will get a clear understanding about how this case works. Case: X Limited forfeited 200 equity shares of 10 each issued at a premium of rupees 5 per share held by Rajesh for non-payment of final call of rupees 3 per share. These shares were reissued to Devraj at a discount of rupees 4 per share. So it is a case where once it was issued at premium and later on it was reissued to some other persons at a discount of 4 per share. So in this scenario also you need to first of all pass the entry for the forfeiture. After that you have to pass the entry for the reissue, and if there is any balance in the forfeiture account you have to transfer that balance to the respective capital reserve account. So first of all let us pass the forfeiture entry for the case. Here a person holding 200 equity shares of 10 each issued at premium of rupees 5 held by Rajesh for non-payment of final call of rupees 3 per share. Usually the premium will be attached along with allotment. If it was not with the allotment, it would have been specified in the question. So we can assume that here the shares were issued at premium and the premium is attached along with the allotment. And in the question, a certain shareholder named Rajesh failed to pay final call. So here the premium is attached with the allotment. We assumed like that, since the default happened after the collection of premium. For passing the forfeiture entry you need not have to worry about the premium part. So the entry will be equity share capital account to share forfeiture account to equity share final call. See, premium amount of rupees 5 per share will not be taken into account as it has been already received by the company. So the entry will be 200 into 10, that is 2000, and Rajesh successfully paid application and allotment. He didn't pay the final call of rupees 3. So we can assume that he already paid 7 rupees worth of share. So 200 into 7, it will be 1400. And he didn't pay final call that is rupees 3. So 3 into 200, 600. That is how this amount has been obtained. Being the forfeiture of 200 equity shares for non-payment of final call at rupees 3 per share. So once you pass the forfeiture entry, next you need to pass the entry for the reissue. Reissue entry is very simple. Bank account debtor, specify the amount. Share forfeiture, here you will show the discount part of the reissue, and finally to equity share capital. So here in the question it is mentioned that a person holding 200 didn't paid one installment, so ultimately it was reissued, and here is no mention in regarding how many shares reissued. So we can assume that all the 200 might have been reissued by the company. Otherwise it would have been specifically mentioned in the question. Out of 200, a certain number of shares has been reissued, like that. Such a sentence would have been mentioned. Since no such information is given, we can assume that the whole 200 shares has been reissued. So the entry will be bank account debtor, share forfeiture account debtor to equity share capital. Here the bank part, 200 shares. These shares were reissued to Devaraj at a discount of 4 per share. So what was the actual price of the share? Rupees 10. In this case also you need not have to worry about the premium part, because it is a case of reissue at discount, not reissued at premium. So out of rupees 10, 4 rupees was provided to the respective person as discount. So what was the actual amount paid by him? So it will be out of 10, 4 is discount, that means remaining is 6. How many shares were reissued? 200. So 200 into 6, 1200. Here we will show the actual amount saved. Share forfeiture account, here you will mention the discount part. Here what was the discount provided to the person, that is Devaraj, the company offered rupees 4 per share. How many shares were issued to Devaraj? 200 shares. So 4 rupees on one share, like that. Out of 200, 200 into 4, it will be 800. So the total equity capital is 2000. Once you pass the entry for the reissue, next you need to pass the entry for the transfer of balance of forfeiture account to the respective capital reserve account. So the entry will be share forfeiture account debted to capital reserve. I believe you all remember the discussion regarding how the amount transferred to the capital reserve has been found. It is better to prepare a share forfeiture account, otherwise do the computation very carefully. Here in the share forfeiture account, credit balance is 1400 and in the debit balance is 800. So definitely the difference between these two amounts will be the balance of the share forfeiture account. Remember this method, this pattern or this method of computation of how much amount it has to be transferred to the capital reserve can be computed only when the total number of forfeited shares are fully reissued. Sometimes the company may reissue only a part of the forfeited share. In that case you have to compute the balance appropriately and accordingly. We will discuss that part. Now this is how you have to pass the journal entries with regard to when shares are issued at premium and when there is a forfeiture, and after that when they are reissued at discount. Earlier we have learned about issue of shares at par and reissue at discount. So this is a case with regard to issue at premium and reissue at discount. Next one, another case. Ex limited forfeited 150 equity shares of rupees 10 each, issued at premium of rupees 5 per share, held by Mrs. Rose for non-payment of allotment money of rupees 8 per share, including premium of 5 per share. First call of rupees 2 per share, final call of rupees 3 per share. Out of these, 100 equity shares were reissued to Varghese at 8 per share, fully paid up. Give the necessary journal entries for the forfeiture as well as reissue. So in this case the forfeiture happens because of a non-payment of allotment money. Remember, in the allotment there is a case, that is premium. In that case the entry for the forfeiture is much different with the entry which we have passed in the previous question. So the entry for the forfeiture is equity share capital, share premium account to share forfeiture to equity share allotment to equity share first call and equity share final call. So that is the entry for the forfeiture when the cancellation is occurred due to non-payment of any installment that consists of premium. But before that, we need to find the value of each of all these installments. In the question, it is mentioned that total value of the one share is 10, issued at premium of 5, and for the non-payment of allotment money of 8 per share, including premium of 5, first call of rupees 2 per share, and final call of rupees 3 per share. So, what is the value of the application money? For that, you need to do a small computation like this. For the finding out the value of application, for the time being, we can neglect the premium part. So, the total value of one share is 10, out of which the value of allotment is 3, because it is mentioned that value of allotment is 8, where rupees 5 is the premium. So we can assume that allotment value will be 3. First call is rupees 2 and final call rupees 3. So if you add these values, you will get 8. What is the price of a share? That is rupees 10. So 10 minus 8, you will get 2. So value of application is rupees 2. If there is no information regarding all the installments with regard to the question, you need to find out separately like this. In almost all the cases and in all the different situations, you have to find the value of application, allotment, first call and final call if there is separately. So now you can pass the journal entry. Here the share premium amount of Mrs. Rose's share is written back, that is debited, as it has not been received by the company. Because in the case of allotment, first of all the company will pass the due entry. After that only payment entry comes. Here the Mrs. Rose didn't pay the allotment, so you have to cancel the due entry. For that you have to pass the forfeiture entry. It will be equity share capital account debtor, share premium account debtor, to share forfeiture account, to share allotment account, share first call and finally final call. So now let us find out how this amount has been ascertained. Equity share capital, that means Mrs. Rose holding 150 shares failed to pay the certain installment. So the company is forced to cancel her shares. So the total value of equity capital is 150 into 10, that is 1500. Here the default or the Mrs. Rose didn't paid allotment money and premium is attached with allotment, so you definitely have to show the amount of premium separately at the time of forfeiture entry. So share premium account, the entry will be 150 into 5, because the value of premium is already given in the question. Total number of shares held by Mrs. Rose is 150, so 150 into 5 is 750. Next one, share forfeiture represents the actual amount paid by this shareholder, that is Mrs. Rose. She successfully paid allotment money. Sorry, application money. Application money is rupees 2. So the value of share forfeiture is 150 into 2, because Mrs. Rose hold 150 shares. 150 into 2, 300. And after that you have to show each of the individual installments separately, because she didn't pay any of the further installments. Next one, equity share allotment. Allotment value is given 150 into 8. Here allotment we have shown the premium amount as well as the actual value of that particular installment, that is 5 premium plus 3 8. That is how we have written here. 150 into 8, 1200. Don't get confused by the value written here, because here allotment includes premium. This is a case where forfeiture happens because of the non-payment of an installment for which the premium was not paid. That is why we are showing the premium in the debit side and we are adding the amount of premium along with that particular installment. Otherwise we would not have shown this share premium as well as this rupees 8. Instead of 8 we would have shown the value of allotment alone. Since Mrs. Rose didn't pay the premium amount in that particular installment, all the details of the premium as well as the total value of the installment is shown here. Here the total value of the installment with regard to the allotment. So 150 into 8, 1200. Next one, equity share first call rupees 2, so 150 into 2, 300. And finally, final call 150 into 3, 450. Don't forget to pass the necessary narration, being the forfeiture of 150 equity shares of rupees 10 each, issued at a premium of rupees 5 per share for non-payment of allotment, first call and final call. Subsequently, her shares were reissued. The entry will be bank account debtor, share forfeiture account debtor to equity share capital, because here out of 150 shares, 100 equity shares were reissued to another shareholder, Varghese, at rupees 8 per share. Value of the share was 10. It was now reissued for 8. So there is a discount that has to be adjusted in the share forfeiture account. Bank account debtor, here the total number of shares was 100. That is reissuing 100. And value of one share is 8. So 100 into 8, 800. Share forfeiture account, here we will show the discount part. 100 equity shares were reissued and discount on such reissue is rupees 2, because earlier the base value of share was 10, now it is reissued at 8, so discount is rupees 2 on 100 shares, rupees 2 as discount, so total share forfeiture is 200. So to equity share capital rupees 1000. 100 shares out of 150 forfeiture shares reissued at 8 per share as fully paid, balance 2 being the discount on the issue of shares adjusted from share forfeiture account. So these are the entries with regard to reissue, and in this case you are asked to pass the forfeiture and the reissue. There is no information regarding whether you have to pass entry for the transfer of balance from share forfeiture to capital reserve, and especially in this type of question it is better to chalk out the account for share forfeiture account. And what is the balance amount that has to be transferred to the capital reserve? Instead of writing the entry, here the computation note is given. Share forfeiture amount of 200 attributable to 100 shares reissued is adjusted against the discount on reissue. We all know that whenever there is a forfeiture, there will be a share forfeiture value in the credit side, and whenever there is a reissue, there will be a debit balance of forfeiture, and you need to adjust these two amounts. Balance in the share forfeiture account, that is in the credit balance there will be 300, debit balance there will be 200, applicable to 50 shares is kept in the share forfeiture account, which will be transferred to the capital reserve only after these shares are reissued. So in the previous cases we have done the computation of finding the balance by taking the difference between this 300 share forfeiture amount, that is a credit balance, and here rupees 200 share forfeiture amount, debit balance. By taking these two amounts difference, you will find the balance of share forfeiture that has to be transferred to the capital reserve. But in this case you have to be very careful, since in this question they are not mentioning about what is the amount that has to be transferred to the share for capital reserve, and they are not mentioning about the journal entry you have to pass. So just understand the concept. We will discuss about how to find the actual amount that has to be transferred to the capital reserve in the coming sessions. But in the meantime, just understand that here out of 200 rupees worth of shares, 100 shares is reissued and is adjusted against on the discount on reissue. Balance in the share for forfeiture account will be 300 minus 200, where 100 is applicable to 50 shares. But we can't finally say that it is the balance amount that has to be transferred to the capital reserve, because here this 300 is on 150 shares and this 200 is based on 100 shares that are reissued. So we can't simply take the difference between these two amount and show that 100 rupees was the balance that has to be transferred to capital reserve. For the time being we can say that there is a balance of 100, but still you need to find the proportion of share forfeiture balance with regard to the 100 shares. There is a separate computation for that. We will discuss about that in such adjustment cases. Until then, go through these entries and familiarize the cases which we have discussed. And regarding how to find the proportional share forfeiture amount that has to be transferred to the capital reserve, the computation for that is quite simple, but for the time being, let us discuss a simple trick. Here 150 equity shares were forfeited, and out of 150, 100 shares were reissued. So what is the proportion of balance of forfeiture that has to be transferred to the capital reserve? Previously we have taken the difference between these two amounts, but in this case you can't do like that. You need to find the proportion, because here this 200 is on 100 shares, and here this 300 is on 150 shares. You need to find the proportion of forfeiture amount with regard to 100 shares. For that, there is a simple trick. Let us assume that rupees 300 is obtained on 150 shares. See here, 300 on 150 shares. So how much will be the amount of forfeiture if it was on 100 shares? For this is basic max, by assuming that it be x, so by cross multiplication you will get rupees 200. This is the simplest method of finding the proportion of share forfeiture amount when only a part of the forfeited shares are reissued. So rupees 200 is the balance of share forfeiture amount that has to be transferred to the capital reserve. This is a simple trick. We will discuss about main adjustments with regard to the share forfeiture and how to find the proportion of share forfeiture when only a part of the forfeited shares are reissued. We will discuss about those cases in the coming sessions. Until then, go through the situations, understand the concept, familiarize the cases. If you have any queries, please let me know. We will continue the further adjustment cases in the coming sessions.